Hello students, welcome to Notebook. Did you know that 30 ancient wooden coffins were discovered in Luxor, Egypt in October 2019? These coffins were 3,000 years old. The archaeologists were very excited with this discovery because they had been digging and searching for these coffins for many years. They found very well preserved or stored mummies of men, women, and 2 children inside these coffins. The mummies are often completely wrapped in clothes. Then, how did the archaeologists find out about their gender? Coffins which were carved with the hands open belonged to women. If the hands on the coffin formed fists, then it belonged to a man. These coffins were found in Al-Asasif cemetery in front of the Hatshepsut's temple in Luxor. Such cemeteries or burial grounds are also found in ancient India. How would you recognize a burial from ancient India? By the megaliths. The megaliths were huge stones or boulders which were arranged on burial sites. The practice of arranging megaliths started 3,000 years ago. Megaliths could be found in the Deccan, South India, in the northeast, and Kashmir. Some megaliths were found on the surface. Other megalithic burial sites were often found below the surface of the earth or underground. Sometimes archaeologists find a single large boulder or a circle of stone boulders at burial sites. The dead were often buried with weapons, ornaments, items of everyday use, and animals. Archaeologists have found pots called red and black ware, tools and weapons of iron, skeletons of horses, and ornaments of gold and silver at the burial sites. We can find out the difference or division between the rich and the poor by studying the burial sites. Often, a wealthy or important person was buried with many valuable items. Archaeologists found a skeleton in Brahmagiri which had been buried with 33 gold beads, 2 stone beads, 4 copper bangles, and a conch shell. At times, more than one skeleton was found in a megalith or burial site. This suggests that people of the same family were often buried at the same place. The bodies of those who died later were brought into the graves through the portholes. Let us now talk about the burial site found in Inamgaon. Inamgaon is a site on the river Ghod, which is a tributary of the Bhima river. People lived here between 2,700 to 3,600 years ago. It was an agrarian or agricultural village in present-day Maharashtra. People at Inamgaon were often buried inside their houses. The dead bodies were laid out straight with the heads towards the north. One man was found buried in a large 4-legged clay jar in the courtyard of a 5-roomed house. He was placed inside the jar in a cross-legged position. Did you know that jar burials were practiced in many societies? In Cretan societies of Greece, the dead bodies were bound or tied tightly so that they fit inside jars. People first buried small children in jars. Later, adults were also buried in jars. Adult jar burials obviously needed larger jars and deeper graves. Archaeologists have also discovered what the people at Inamgaon did and what they ate by studying the burial sites. They have found seeds of wheat, barley, rice, pulses, sesame, millets, and bones of animals like cattle, buffalo, goat, dog, horse, sheep, spotted deer, etc. Evidence shows that people at Inamgaon collected fruits like ber, amla, jamun, dates, and berries. Apart from the burial sites, historians and archaeologists also learn a lot from the books and manuscripts of the past. The Vedas, the Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajur Veda, and Atharva Veda tell us about ancient India. The oldest is the Rig Veda, and it was composed 3,500 years ago. The Rig Veda contains more than 1,000 hymns called Sukta, or well said. These hymns praise various gods and goddesses like Agni, or the god of fire, Indra, or the warrior god, and the plant god Soma. The hymns in the Rig Veda were composed by the sages or the rishis. Some of the hymns were composed by women. The students recited, learnt, and carefully memorized the hymns in the Vedas. So we see that the Rig Veda was first heard and not read. It was written down many centuries later. It was printed less than 200 years ago. Many hymns in the Rig Veda are in the form of dialogues or conversations. In one such hymn, the sage Vishwamitra talks to the two rivers, Bias and Sutlej. Vishwamitra compares the rivers to fast horses and shining cows. Historians have read this hymn and concluded that the hymn was composed in the area where the Bias and the Sutlej rivers flowed. They have also pointed out that cows and horses were valuable animals in the Indian society when this hymn was composed. That is why Vishwamitra compared the rivers to horses and cows. The prayers or hymns in the Rig Veda also tell us about the Indian society and its structure. There were hymns for children, especially sons, cattle, and horses. People fought battles on chariots drawn by horses to capture cattle, land, water, and people. The warriors won or obtained a lot of wealth from these battles. Who owned or kept the wealth? The leaders, who were brave and skillful warriors, kept some of the wealth. Some of the wealth went to the priests, and the rest was distributed among the poor people. They also performed yajnas, or sacrifices, for the gods and goddesses with some of the wealth. Historians and scholars have found words which describe people in the Rig Veda. These words give us an idea about the communities of people and divisions of society in ancient India. Two types of people have been described in the Rig Veda based on their occupation: the priests or the Brahmins and the Rajas. The words Jana and Vish describe the common people or the community of people as a whole. We know of the Puru Jana or Vish, Bharata Jana or Vish, and the Yadu Jana or Vish from the Rig Veda. The people who composed the hymns in the Rig Veda called themselves the Aryas. They called their opponents the Dasas or Dasyus, belonged to different communities and spoke different languages. Later the terms Dasa, masculine, and Dasi, feminine, came to be known as slaves. Slaves were men and women captured in wars. The owners, often the Aryas, treated them badly and made them do all kinds of work. With that, we come to the end of our video lesson on what books and burials tell us. The Rajas of the Rig Veda did not own palaces, cities, or armies. Their sons did not automatically become Rajas. When did the firstborn son of a king or Raja succeed his father to the throne or become the new king? Find out about this order or right of succession in India and in other countries of the world. See you soon in our other videos. Till then, happy learning.